Hi, everyone. Good afternoon here. It's 1 o'clock in the East. It's 10 o'clock in Vancouver, I believe, 10 o'clock in the morning. And that's where is it Utsav Jain? Is that the best way to pronounce it? Yes. So we were just talking before, and how did we first meet? Well, pre-pandemic, there was a LinkedIn local whole organization where we all did these LinkedIn locals all over the world. And they had this call, and someone was on the call from Vancouver that we knew in common. And she invited me to a LinkedIn local in Vancouver. Now, this was pre-pandemic, of course, but then it just started building a whole relationship. And Utsav and I, we've stayed in touch for a while. We've gone to different networking events, and we've been just trying for the longest time to actually get together and have another conversation with everything going on. So definitely want to welcome Utsav today. He was born and raised in India. He emigrated to Canada in 2017. Now, you were working at KPMG. What were you actually doing at KPMG?
I was a tax accountant there, like a tax specialist, but I was always never worked on Indian taxes or Canadian taxes. I was always a US tax specialist.
Mhm.
So yeah, like corporate US taxes.
So, you pivoted to being a recruiter, and a lot of people on the calls now are doing different pivots for different reasons. You're now in the similar space to me, LinkedIn and brand strategy, and you're very passionate about a lot of the same things that I am. And I think that's one of the things that we share in common is we go about this maybe differently, but we have the same passion for the platform. And
100%.
in your case, what have been some of the things you really like the most about the platform and the things that you really like to emphasize?
Um, it's the people. It's all about people. LinkedIn is all about people. So I love that. I get a lot of energy, and I'm very like LinkedIn has so many great things. Like it's hard to say what's the one thing that I like about the platform, but networking in the right way, in a more meaningful way. Plus, I've been able to reach out to people on LinkedIn who I would not have been able to in a normal life or on any other social media platform.
I think for me, because I'm an introvert by nature, which probably doesn't, again, I'll stress out of every little thing. And for the longest time, I would hate to go to events in person and try to talk to people. So LinkedIn became kind of like a way that I could connect with people and be here and kind of have a little bit more control over things because I'm not a small talker, despite what it may seem like. So I think that helped me out a lot, and a lot of people that I know that are on the calls. It's like it's so easy to connect with someone and start the relationship there.
Yes, 100% Ken. I totally agree with you. Like in my head, I feel that I'm an extrovert. Like I
Uh-huh.
can go and talk to people, but when it comes to real in-person meetings, it's hard when you are in a room filled with like 30 people, 50 people, or maybe 100 people at a big networking events, and you stumble or you don't know where to go. You are just sitting in the corner or
Mhm.
standing in a corner with a glass of your drink, and like you don't know. And I have been in that situation, and when you put that across in such an amazing way, yes, LinkedIn is a great platform, and you can it's a great platform for introverts.
Now, I'd love to have some people chime in to let us know where they're actually, calling from, coming in from. Now, you mentioned before the call you had a special shirt on for the holidays.
Oh yeah, today we are going to talk about holidays and networking. So
Okay.
I was like, let's get into the holiday mood. Let's put on a dress shirt, like a holiday party
Oh,
shirt.
well, if I had known that, I would have had my Hanukkah cap on like I did once before. But
Oh,
I think
you look great either ways, Ken.
Oh, I know. But I think holiday networking, there's so much talk about it. And I think it's a great time to network and it's a great time to reach out to people. Um, I think to some extent, most people don't really know exactly where to start or how to do it. So do you have any suggestions or things that you would recommend?
Yeah, there are lots that we can, and we will be talking about this at length. So there are a lot of points and that we can talk about networking during holidays, and I call it in like every time whenever networking comes in, I always say it's networking is always intentional. Like
Mhm.
this is something people should even think about it even before going to a networking event, whether it's in person or a Zoom call. Networking is always intentional. There is a purpose behind it, why you are attending a certain event, why you are going there. But during the holidays, we are attending Christmas parties, or we are meeting our family, friends, or maybe it's an office party, or maybe it's like a group of board members or the CXOs meeting up. So it could be different than a regular networking event. And so there are lots of tips and pointers that can help you out to make it more eventful. Like you might think, how can I network in a, maybe it's a family dinner, like a
Mhm.
Christmas dinner coming up, and it's a family and extended family meeting up. Hopefully this year almost all the events are in person, um, uh, unlike last 2 years, or last year actually. So when you are meeting at an event, maybe your cousin is introducing her boyfriend to the bringing her boyfriend at the party. You can always network with that person, tell them how maybe you are a website developer, how amazing websites you are making, and he is just getting into the financial space, starting his own CPA firm, or uh, and he might be looking for a website developer. So you never know where you can network, and you don't even have to tell about your business. You can just get to know people in a more authentic way, like really getting to know people, and who you have not spoken in a while, or who you see maybe a new face at the party. So there are many pointers, I mean, that I can talk about today.
I agree. I'm just going to do some shout outs here, and that we have Carol from New Jersey, Karina Hahn from Vegas. I would love to
Wow.
know, Karina, how you found out about the event. Kim, Nancy, and Jain, my New Jersey tribe, and of course Christine Dykman. One thing which I think it's very underutilized is a lot of our kids are home now from school, whether it's college or something else, and there's a great opportunity to work with them and to network and show them some of the ways to network too. Because I think to some extent, there's a limit to what people learn in school. And I think one of the points you brought up is extremely great. It's not so much an elevator pitch. It's more about talking about yourself and your successes, and in a general way. Because I'm in IT, and if I start doing the lingo and I start
Hmm.
talking agile and Scrum and all that, they're going to think of Scrum like the Australian football or something. They're not going to think of Scrum like as a BA or something. So you really want to
Yeah.
be somewhat understanding about that.
Yes, yes. Nowadays, yeah, great point, Ken. Nowadays, many millennials, or I don't know what they call themselves these days, Generation Z or Y, uh, there are a lot of startups happening. Like, there was a guy who reached out to me. He's a 17-year-old, and he already has a startup business with 5 employees. And he
Mhm.
reached out to me, pitching me for his services. And I was surprised. Like, nowadays, the world has changed, and many people, many young people, like, we cannot even imagine, teenagers have their own business already. Like, so it's always great to talk about your business, even like, rather than, like, people generally, if you are in a job, people do ask you what are you doing in your job these days whenever you are meeting family, friends. uh, you can always, if you have a business, sometimes you hesitate to talk about that. I would like to say that please don't hesitate. I mean, you should be open about it. You should talk about it. Give them some free advice, or give them some value as well. Like, you are a LinkedIn expert, Ken, and you can always talk to people on how amazing this platform is, how underutilized this platform is, right? And we can always share those values. It might be helpful for them, even you're not looking for business, right? Like, but it's always great. I mean, there are so many parties and so many conversations that can happen. Like, probably one example I would like to share here is, like, there, people in the job industry, there might be a Christmas party or a staff lunch party, and there could be some people that you really don't speak to during an office hour, or you don't reach out to them because they are busy, or you are busy, or you both work in different verticals, but you really wanted to connect with that person. This is your time, this is your chance. And this time that both of you are not working, rather than being in your own group, who you are meeting with them anyways, or grabbing a drink with them after work anyways, this is your chance to talk to that person who you have always wanted to chat with, or who you never got a chance to connect with. So that could be one good example for networking during holidays.
I think one point you brought up, which I think is extreme, which I hadn't even thought about before. A lot of people that are coming home, they are starting businesses. They're out there doing things probably sooner than we did. So it could be a
Yes.
reverse networking thing. Instead of the assumption being that someone of people of a certain age need our help, they may, to network, they could use our help and our experience. And I hadn't really thought about that till now because I know a lot of 20 somethings out there that have started doing things.
Yes.
And what they don't have is they don't have the connections and they don't necessarily have the relationships yet. So I
Yes.
think that's definitely something to consider. So you just gave me some great advice, actually. So look
Thank
for
you.
that in a future LinkedIn post. But I mean, we all like to learn from each other for sure.
100%. 100%. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that I'm able to add value or give some advice to you, the master himself.
No,
Uh, but yes, there are lots of youngsters, businesses, new businesses coming up, and you should never shy away from sharing what you do for your work. And people know people. Like, networking is all about uh, connecting with people, because you don't know who they are connected to. Like,
mhm,
right now when we are chatting here, I'm connected to you, Ken, and now you know what I do. Maybe you are connected with so many people. Somebody reaches out to you for any X services, you will say, oh yeah, I know Utsav, he can help you out. So people know people, and that's
mhm.
why networking is very important. And during holidays, people are people are less busier because it's holiday season, and that time they have more time to chat with you. So always reach out to people in a more authentic way, and truly to make a connection, and not just add a number to your networking list. Like, I always tell people that whenever you're networking or going to an event, rather than networking with everyone or having like 10 people that you want to connect with, even if you connect with one person and make a solid connection, like a true authentic connection, and you both get along well, that's a great, that's a very successful networking event for you.
So I have to call out David Shuckman, and this is going to be in the chat. So if you don't see it all now, just save it later. David Shuckman does this group on Fridays in Mercer County, which is Central New Jersey. It's not the group; it's that he's going to wear his Christmas Aloha shirt. He does an Aloha shirt all the time. So you got to go to this event to see the shirt. And what David will find out is whether or not I'm going to wear my Aloha shirt, because um, I think the important thing is just because these events are based in one part of the country, anyone is welcome to come, and they're going to have a career coach panel. So, David, if you want to put more
Wow.
information in the chat, that would be great. But I definitely recommend, because again, I found out about these events from other people too.
Yeah.
It's not. Um, I'd like to say I know all the events, but I learn from other people. And the time you stop learning is, you're always learning, whether it's learning
Yeah.
about people or, learning about what they do. So just to let everyone know, Karina reminded me we met on Clubhouse and got the notification about the event. So again, networking is everywhere. I mean, Clubhouse is a part of networking.
Yes.
I'm not sure. My challenge, honestly, is trying to be somewhat. I don't want to go in digital overload. I got to the point probably about 3 months ago where I actually had to do a digital detox because
Wow.
I was off all the platforms for 2 days, and
Oh,
it was, I mean, totally off the platform. I mean, and I barely checked emails, and I felt so refreshed afterward. And I think
you
sometimes,
definitely need that.
what?
Yeah, you, sorry to cut you out there, but yeah, you definitely need that digital detox, definitely.
And it's about the managing that because there's so many things out there and you have to know what's best for you. Some people find a platform like this great. Others may find Facebook, Twitter, Discord, Slack. I mean, we could go on and on and on, but I think, the important thing is just about building relationships, for sure. So I'd love to know if anyone has any questions for us, because Utsav and I, we can chat the whole time, and we will, believe me, if we need to. But
Yes, everyone, whoever is on the call, please send us some amazing questions. Prick our brain.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely. Um, I
and
think that, for me, the biggest thing the hardest thing for me was, and it happened in a December, and
Hmm.
it's a very, very common thing that happens now, is I got laid off in one December. And I got laid off, I did not see it coming. So, um, especially with all the news and the layoffs, these happen all the time this time of the year. And I think you want to be kind to yourself, just kind of enjoy the holidays as much as possible, but use it to network, um, and be somewhat cognizant of the fact that you're not alone. And I think in a situation like this, I'm talking about the better.com, the 900 employees that everyone has heard about only because it went viral. What they did, which is really amazing, is someone from the company created a spreadsheet of all the people out of work, and they shared it amongst themselves with all the LinkedIn profiles.
Wow.
So to some extent, if anyone here wants to ever create a spreadsheet, I always recommend a spreadsheet or something on your phone, all the events, who you're going to see there, who you have to follow up on, instead of just trying to follow up on emails, because it's very hard to stay on top of things.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And yeah, that's a great way to that's what like intentional networking. I mean, it it would be amazing.
I think what most people want to know is people by their nature are very inquisitive. They're always they like to learn, and people also like to talk about themselves. I mean,
Hmm.
it's human nature. So even if the conversation isn't about a job, but it's about other things. I mean, we all here in the Northeast, and I'm sure to some extent in Vancouver, we're getting into winter. So it's going to be the same type of comments there. How we're handling the seasons. I always try to look at the positives, but respect that there's a lot of negatives out there. So I have to ask, what's going on with COVID? Is it as
Yeah. It's first of all, yeah, you remind me of the winters, and yeah, it's snowing today here in Vancouver.
really?
Yeah, it is. And we already got two snow. One was a big one was a small one, and today I think again it's a small snow. With the COVID, I think there is a this new variant. The cases are again rising. Uh, I don't know what's happening with COVID and what how the world and we are going to tackle with this, because yesterday I was chatting with my friend in Toronto, and he told me like 60% of the cases are from the people who are fully vaccinated, and that
Mhm.
was shocking and surprising that people who are fully vaccinated with double jabs, double shots, they are getting COVID positive with this new variant. And I was like, wow. I mean, even with the I mean, it's sad because it's sad to even think about it because there might be another lockdown. So
What I bring that up is because I want to go back to in-person networking. I cannot wait to see
yes,
people.
yes, same here.
And going inside, there's a challenge to it. And I think, because I'm going to be going to my local library next month for the first time and
Oh
doing an
wow.
event there, and let's see who shows up. I just know that there's something that I love talking to people and all that, but seeing someone's face, getting a chance to talk to them is such a great thing. And I know that there's all different challenges with that. And I think, um, as much as I've looked forward and enjoyed talking to people, I miss the in person stuff for sure.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, the in-person would be great if it comes back, because it's almost going to be 2 years that the world got introduced to Zoom. And I think we have had enough of Zoom. I mean,
Yes.
we need we need to take that digital detox and meet in person. So with some friends, we are definitely having those events. But yeah, like a proper formal networking events, we would love to get back to it. And yeah, that would be amazing. I just get excited by even thinking about it. Like, yeah, it would be an amazing one.
Yeah, I think one of the things now, because I do a group on Mondays with people in transition here in New Jersey, and what people have told me is that they're zoomed out. They don't mind chatting and all that, but it's not the same thing. It's like, um, something was, it was fine for a little while, but now it's like I just want to go out and do something. And a couple of people from our group actually said they went to New York City this past weekend, which If you can imagine how crowded it is with the holidays, I was like,
Yeah.
wow. But they said, we just had to go out just for a
Yes.
little while, just to get some semblance of normalcy. And
Yes.
um, I'm looking forward to. I've talked to a couple of people. I'm trying to get together and meet people next year now. Um,
Wow.
like yourself, I mean, at some point, I'm going to be,
Yes. Flying to
you know,
Vancouver.
well, yeah. I mean, easier said than done. Yeah, I know. I'm looking into that. I'm going to Chicago and Charlotte and other places now because I just want to. Besides exploring the world, I want to see people.
True, the US borders and the Canadian borders are open.
Okay.
So that's a good thing that now we can before it wasn't open. So yeah, let's take this first.
So this is David, and perfect activity for introverts. Introverts don't like big crowds. Works best as a one-on-one activity. Introverts tend to be quiet, which I usually am. Makes us good listeners. We don't like to talk about themselves, which is very true. Rather talk about anything else but myself. And we're introspective, curious, and good helpers. And I think most people, the hardest thing for an introvert, and I'll say it from personal experience, the hardest thing for an introvert is to talk and put yourself out there. You only want to give out as much information as you need to. It's like, how are you doing? I'm fine. Um, um, that sort of thing, because you're almost afraid of how you're going to come across. You're almost afraid
Yes.
that the people are going to talk behind your back and all that. And I got to tell you, they're going to do it anyway.
100%. 100%. Yeah. Uh, yeah, introverts sometimes they even come across in the wrong way just because they are shy.
Mm-hmm.
So people sometimes take introverts in a wrong manner, in a wrong way as well, that they might be rude or like they don't want to chat, or they are shying away, like they are ignoring them. So yeah, uh, yeah, I've seen introverts. I've been an introvert. I still think I'm an introvert. So yeah, but
I think we have a bunch of introverts on this call
amazing.
because now I'm waiting to see if any of them post. I think
Introverts,
that's the
right?
thing. It's like everyone's afraid to be the first person to post, and it's like he's going to put my post up there. He's going to put my name up there. I mean, and I'm just kidding, of course, but I'm saying it's there's a mentality that we have. I mean, I put me in a group of other introverts, and I am feeling great because I'm in my tribe, so to speak. But even with family functions, it is hard for me to make small talk. It is hard for me, and it's like, and I get criticized. You're bored. You're angry. No. It's just a lot to take in. Um,
So Ken, yeah,
yeah.
since we are talking about networking during holidays, and introvert is a great topic, and you said family functions. So w- what is the best way, or what advice would you give someone for family functions, especially this time around the year? There would be a couple of family dinners or functions. So what advice would you give to someone who wants to talk to a cousin or an uncle or an aunt but have been shying away with that small talk?
First thing I would do is listen. I would listen to all the conversations going on and not feel compelled to break into one.
Mhm.
What I've done in the past is I brought another member of the family with me into the conversation to kind of be that go between. And then when they leave, at least it has set a certain boundary. But I listen and I try to react to what people are saying to me. Um, and we always talk about something we have in common. And at a family gathering, it's always about the food. Can you believe they serve this? Can you believe they serve that? Can you believe that one's eating this? That sort of thing. I mean, and it could be something with the family that, what's going on with this member, that member. Saying I'm looking for a job, it's things will flow. People will talk to you and you just stay in touch. I mean, not too long ago, I used to hook up with people sending out, cards and sending email happy holidays things. I'm not sure if that's a great relevant thing to do for everyone now. I definitely think that what you should be doing is reaching out to the people you network with. And
Yeah.
connect with them. Happy holidays, whatever. I think brings up another point though. Um, how do you feel about people posting on LinkedIn about themselves? Like I admit I'm an introvert and I posted it on LinkedIn. Do you think that's okay to share some of that with people?
Like when you say posting about yourself, like as in what?
As
Like,
in, as, in, as an introvert, this is what I have trouble with. Boom, 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 boom.
okay.
These are some of my challenges. Kind of putting myself out there. I did that post and it resonated with a lot of introverts who said, "Yeah, you're talking about me. You're talking about me." But I agonized over doing that post for about 2 months, to be honest.
Hmm. Yeah.
And when I did it, I was like, "Oh my god, what have I done?" So I think after that, I got better at it. I think there's
Yes.
that mindset of you're so afraid of screwing up.
Yes, you don't know what you don't know. This
Right.
is what I love saying people, even to my clients. Like when my clients they come to me like, Utsav, I don't know what to post. I don't know what should I post. I the first thing I tell them is talk about yourself. Like talk about your like as you said, like you are an introvert. Talk about that or your challenges in life, your failures in life. I love to talk about failures in life rather than successes. People don't what I this is my assumption. I could be wrong, but I feel that people don't really like reading about your successes so much rather than they love reading about your failures. Like because there is a lot of learnings from there. There's a lot of hustle and struggle that they see, and sometimes people can relate to it, and so people really like to see that and read about it, and then they drop a comment whether they have gone through that or whether how they have coped up with it or they can also give you a piece of advice like if you are ending the post by saying asking for an advice or some guidance. So that's what I say, like you don't know what you don't know. So the best way to know is be out there, post something and learn from it. What's going to happen? At best nobody's going to look at it, nobody's going to engage on it, but once you keep posting it, you will see the magic happen, and you and I know
Right.
LinkedIn is magical.
Yeah. So then, Joey brings up his Ford things to talk about, help you learn about people, family, occupations, recreation, and dreams. And I know that it's you're so right about the idea. People learn from failures, and some of the best posts I've read have been people who have taken a positive out of a failure and learned from it. I mean, um, that's being very vulnerable. I mean, you learn from it, and I think it's really great to get that perspective because you also don't feel that you're the only one that's going through that. I think the challenge most people have is really trying to figure out what they need to post about, what they need to write about, how to brand themselves. Sometimes I say, don't overthink it, really,
Yeah.
because then you're never going to really get any traction.
Yeah, don't overthink. Just post something. I would say about yourself, about maybe some stories that you have. That there has your life is a journey. There are so many events that has happened in your life. Talk something about it and share some perspective about life or job or career or something happening in your life, and you will be surprised. And you will start going into a particular direction once you start posting, and you will see yourself what is working, what is not. Like one of why I talk about failure is one of my posts really went viral when I spoke about my failure. And one of the posts where I was asking for some suggestion and guidance, it went viral because people love to suggest you, give their opinion. And I truly wanted an opinion, and I was surprised. There were like 210 comments or something like that within one day. It was crazy, like how much people really wanted to help me out. And and I wouldn't have known that unless I posted about it. So LinkedIn is a great platform to network, and you should definitely post. And even if it's writing about yourself, don't hesitate.
No, I think there's too many generalities that are made, and LinkedIn is like Facebook. There are some things that don't belong on LinkedIn belong on Facebook. You know what? It's up to you to kind of regulate yourself. If I see something on there that I don't want to see, I'll hide it. I don't want to be. I'll just move on.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's a community when you have millions upon millions of people using the platform.
Yes.
You just everyone has a different point of view, and I know one of the areas that I try to learn as much about is not just United States but other parts of the world. Now, I'm not talking about Vancouver alone. That's still the North, the North America. But um, from your background, when you first came to this country, is there a different networking or different way of communicating or working with people where, in India and other places?
Yes. Short answer, yes.
Okay.
It's very different. The work culture, the way you interact with people, the way you approach people, it's very different. And but I'm glad that when I was in India, I was working for Deloitte and Bank of America.
Hmm.
So I was always in that multinational company culture, MNC culture, uh, because I was working for the California office for Deloitte back in India. And then I was working for the New York office of Bank of America back in India. So we were always having colleagues or co-workers across the globe. And so I was well versed with the work culture and how people work in North America. So it was a easy transition for me. But I definitely see that many people, it's not an easy transition because you are coming not only from a different country, it's a totally different continent all the way. And it's the people are different, the work culture, the language, everything is different. Like though people speak English, I mean, I don't mean the verbally English language, but like the corporate language,
No, no,
whether
right.
it yeah, whether it's your work ethics or like the way the timings, you would be surprised. Like people, like over here we have that 40-hour work culture. In India, people tend to work, like most of the industries, they tend to work longer hours than in North America. So there are so many things that I don't want to dive deep into it, but yeah,
No, I mean, I brought
it's
it up
very
also
different. Yeah.
because I've learned about all different holidays and cultures from talking to people because I know we get a little bit American centric here about our holidays.
Yes.
And, for example, in Canada, you have Thanksgiving in October. You have your
Yes.
other holidays. And I think, it's not an ignorance on our part. We don't know, but we want to know, as much as possible because it makes
Yes.
us understand, everything else. And that's why I
Yeah.
bring that up because I make the assumption probably too many times on LinkedIn about my audience. Yeah, I know where
Yeah.
I'm located, but I have to think about the audience in a more general way because something
Yes.
may not appeal to them or they may not even understand because of it. So I think that's an important part of, when you post, think about anyone. Try to make the post as general or as possible. And then, if you want to take other conversations offline, you can do that.
Yes, India has a lot more holidays than North America. A lot more. They even like if it's Christmas, yeah, like Christmas is the biggest holiday here, so we have that 1 week off mostly. Like
Right.
people generally tend not to work from 24th to 1st or 2nd. Similarly, in India, like there are two, three big festivals of different cultures, and every festival is like Christmas. So it's like bigger breaks and bigger, longer breaks over there. So yeah, since you brought that up, yeah,
Yeah.
India has more holidays than North America,
Also, the
definitely.
time difference, because when I have a lot of calls, like when I'm going to talk to someone from Australia, I have to be cognizant of the time difference. So I
Yes.
try to have a lot of evening calls there. So it's actually the morning there. Because if I
Yeah.
say I'm having a call in the afternoon, it's the middle of the night, for them. This is a great time because it's 10 o'clock where you are. So you're waking up and I'm sort of halfway through the day. And I've had calls the other with Europe. I'm talking to them, it's the evening. And I think you want to understand on a call, well, it's your morning, your day is just starting out or your day is ending. And that definitely affects kind of the tone of the conversation too. And you want to be
Yeah.
cognizant of that for sure.
Yes. Yes. True. I mean, time zone and the time difference. Yes. And Australia, I'm surprised. Like, I mean, whenever I chat with someone in Australia, oh my God, the time difference is huge. Huge. I think it's 18 hours, I believe.
So
80.
in parts of it, and also the other thing is also even in terms of measurements. You're doing Celsius. You've got the metric system. The United States never wanted to adapt the metric system. We do our Fahrenheit. So when people have said to me, well, it's going to be a warm day and it's 25 degrees Celsius, I'm like, that's not warm. But you have to think for a minute. I mean, and I don't mean to make light of it, but we have to think past the mindset of what we're used to.
Yes, totally agree with you, Ken. Totally.
So and well, the other thing also which does come up is even when you're talking to people in Australia now, it's summertime there.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
and the same with anyone south of the equator. So you they're going to celebrate Christmas like they always do with the palm trees and all that. And then when
Yeah.
we have our celebrations in summer, it's the winter. So again, it's just but the fact that you know that is appreciated. I
Yes.
mean, because it's that you care. I mean, and you want to be
Yeah.
respectful of everyone for sure.
Yeah. I was in Australia just pre-pandemic, like December 2019.
Right.
I was in Australia. So yeah, beautiful country, beautiful people, and yeah, uh, just imagine myself like on 22nd or 24th of December from Australia, Gold Coast, like the beaches and the sunshine. I was flying there to Vancouver in the cold, snowy, snowy country, and I was like, damn it, I miss the sun. So, oh my God, I
So,
went on a different tangent because you reminded me of
huh.
Australia. How
Any other
beautiful it is.
questions that anyone wants to chime in with, or shout outs or anything? I mean, um, I like to have these conversations, but I like to have people kind of bring their feedback in because, like I said, um, after a while, we end up talking about things that are very, very personal to us. So, okay, David drove in Ireland from the Republic to Northern Ireland, crossing the border. The mile markers on the highway changed from kilometers an hour to miles an hour. And that's very true. Also, the speed, when you're
Yes,
driving. I
yes,
never wanted
David.
to drive in England because I was so afraid of driving on the wrong side of the road. I had to do a double take when I was walking there because I was used to looking one way and you had to
Hmm.
be looking the other way. Um,
Yes. Same thing for India. Same thing for India and Canada. India is how do you say it? Right side driving, and North America is left side driving, or is it the other way? Do you say North America is left side driving or right side
I
driving?
think we say it's right side driving. If anyone in the chat
Okay, so
confirm,
okay, yeah.
be great.
So yeah, North America is right side driving. So India is left side driving. So yeah, for me that was even a different thing. But I'm glad that I'm in Canada because in Canada we are still using Celsius, not Fahrenheit, like US, and we
Right.
are still using kilometers and not miles. And that's the two same things back in India as well. So I was I was glad that that's happening. But yeah, we are all in the holiday mood today, talking about holidays and
Yeah, for sure.
amazing.
Um, any
So,
plans coming up?
no, no, nothing, nothing as such. We are home this holiday season. We don't have any plans for traveling. Uh, just my wife's birthday is this week. That's the only
All
plan.
right.
So,
So here, oh, David reminded me it's the other way. How do you approach a contact you have not talked to in several years?
how do you approach a contact you have
Contact
not
you have not
talked in
talked to in
several?
several years.
Oh, this is a beautiful time, Eve. It's an excellent question, and that's what holiday networking is about. Like, this is an excellent opportunity when you can reach out to them, send an email, or if you are on LinkedIn, send them a LinkedIn message mentioning that it's been a long time that we spoke, wishing them happy holidays, wishing them well for their family, talking about COVID, they are staying safe, and then asking them if they would want to reconnect over a call. So, holidays is the best time because you are exchanging greetings, and it's the best time to rebond or retouch and get that uh, like connection alive again.
So, Jane, any tips for balancing branding yourself versus your business? And I know that you and I mean, I have a business, but I brand myself. You have any advice or things to differentiate?
Uh, I would say you are your business's brand. Like I always tell people that people do business not with the logo or the business name, they do it with people. So you yourself is the brand of your business. So brand yourself well and brand yourself more. than branding your business. So
I mean, what I would say is if you have a company and you want to create a company page on LinkedIn with the company, it gives you a different way to communicate with your connections or actually followers.
yeah,
The caveat for that is if you do create a company page, you want to somewhat engage on it because it otherwise defeats the purpose. But I'd be curious if anyone else in the chat has any other thoughts about that, because I think we have some people here in the chat that are individuals and also um, have businesses.
yeah. So with the company page, Ken, company page is good to have it on your profile that where what
Right,
company you are working with or what company you own or it's you are the founder of this brand. But I would still say like having for the company page, maybe have a weekly post or maybe twice a week is good enough. But the real engagement or the real branding happens when you post from your own profile in your own network. And
definitely.
that's why I am, yeah, I know you agree with that. I mean, but I'm just emphasizing that if you want to build a brand for yourself and your business, just focus on posting on LinkedIn or working on yourself rather than posting through a company page, because people love to do business with people and they are always hesitant when connecting or engaging on a company's post or on a company's profile page, rather versus your personal page and your personal post. And that's why even for posting that we were chatting about earlier about posting on LinkedIn, it's better to post more of valuable content and giving out to the world free stuff, free value content, rather than just talking about your business. Like suppose you are a videographer or a photographer, you cannot always try to sell services or post on LinkedIn just talking about your services or business. You can always talk about giving value, like top 3 DSLRs to buy, top 3 lenses to buy, or which angle the pictures could be the best framed at, or which lighting to use. Could be many other valuable posts as well. So that's all about
I mean,
branding.
what I would also say is think about when you post, and
Oh
depending on
yes.
where your audience is, because I mean, there's been so many different statistics and so many different things about it. I can only share from my experience. The best times to post are generally speaking Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday morning. Um, Maybe more now than in the past. But if you were trying to reach people in different parts of the world, think about the timing there. And if you do post on the weekend, that's when you can have more fun.
Yeah.
That's when people, because the people that are on the platform there are engaging in a different way. So I've created polls from time to time. I'm not a big fan of all the polls that are out there. I think we're a bit overwhelmed with polls. But if you're going to post a poll, what's the value of posting the poll? I mean, don't
Yeah.
post a poll. We all make the joke. Do you like coffee or tea? Um, that sort of thing. Dark chocolate or dark chocolate, whatever. Those are great throwaway polls. But why are you posting that poll? If you want to ask a business question
Yeah.
and have answers on the question because you're curious, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But and that will give you a lot of great engagement too.
Yeah, yeah, it's all about purpose and intention. I mean, sometimes it's for the fun sake, but yes, ask yourself why are you posting that poll, tea versus coffee? Like I have a small tea business, so for me it makes sense.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, sometimes I even like to see polls which has follow-up polls. Like you have a series of questions in a poll, like you run a poll for 3 days, and then you have a follow-up question with another poll for another 3 days. So, and then another poll, and then you can stack all the results together and come to a resolution or a solution that, okay, these people like these and like to do this. So it
Right.
could be something more relevant, but polls are great on LinkedIn. They do amazing.
I think the best thing of all in is that when you engage, whether you post a comment on there or if someone comments on your post or poll, you got to recognize them. You know, thank you for doing it. I mean, I think it's so important because you don't want to take your audience for granted. You don't want to take that the next day because they'll just go on to something else. And I think it's so important to be that way. I mean, I don't take anything for granted with what I do, and most of us don't as well. So what I always like to do is now kind of wrap things up, because people that are on the call know I like to be respectful of the fact that people may have a 2 o'clock call. They want to have some time to take a break or whatever they need to do. Because during the pandemic, I was on call to call to call, and I just had no time at all to really breathe. So,
Oh my God. No, yeah, breaks are very important. Yes.
so is there anything we can do for you specifically, Utsav? I mean, that, or anything you'd like to share besides the blurb that you gave me?
No, I don't think I have. Like one last thing that was lingering on my mind, because when I told one of my friends that today Ken and I are going to chat about networking, LinkedIn, holidays. We also chatted about introvert. So he asked me like, Utsav, he is going to Utsav, I'm going to a party, like it's a stakeholders party. Of his business. So he said there would be some clients, there would be CXOs. So what should I do? What's your one tip or two tip that I should do in that event? So I was like, there must be some clients that you wanted to meet, or you want to meet in person, or chat more with them, build that reputation, build that connection with them, that you have been dying to do that. He said, oh yeah, 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 there is one guy I have always wanted to get hold of, that person I have never been able to. He's coming to that lunch party. I was like, great. So take bring those numbers up, like what he's already a client of your company. Bring pull out some back do some background research, do your homework, pull out some numbers, and then intentionally, that's what intentional networking, intentionally take an opportunity to meet that person and have a chat with them, not starting directly with the business, but genuinely trying to get to know that person. Maybe talk about their favorite dish, or like you said, food always comes up at
Mhm.
network, at in-person events. So talk about food or something, and then talk about their business, or whether you want to do something different for their business, or you have some new ideas that can help their business grow. Talk to them about that. And
Mhm.
that's when you can always bring some numbers up as well, because they might counter, or so you should be ready with all that stuff. So he was like, great advice, Utsav. And I told him I would share it on Ken's
Sure.
event as well.
So I
So
wanted to end with this. This is one of two comments here that are together for me. I still have to update my LinkedIn. With my last job I had for 3.5 years, was told not to update until I'm completely ready, as you want to make the best impression. Do you agree with this? I was thinking it'd be better just to update it and then fine tune it later.
okay, can we go to the first part again, like
Sure. I still
um
have to update my LinkedIn with the last job I had for 3.5 years. I was told not to update it until I was completely ready, as I want to make the best impression. Do you agree with this? So I'm going to just put up what Sam has here, which is your profile is never done. So make
yes,
sure that what you put up initially is correct, and continue to work on it and update it. And I think that's a common thing. Your profile is always going to be worked on. I'm always working on my profile.
yes.
Um, so if you wait till it's perfect, it will never be perfect, because you have to change it to something else.
Yes. Yeah. But Eve, your question is a great question, because most of the people have this thought. They don't update their profile because they think it's not perfect, or they wait for the right time to make it perfect and then update it. But just put your job out there. You have worked there for 3.5 years. It should be there on your LinkedIn profile. Just put it out there, and you can keep tweaking it, keep fine tuning it until it's perfect. But it's like Ken said, it's never going to be perfect. And
I mean, I'll say
yeah,
this: if this is a new job that you're just putting up there for the first time, then you're going to get a lot of congratulations for that new job, even though you had it for 3.5 years. So use that as an opportunity to reach out to people when they congratulate you.
absolutely.
I mean, they don't have to know the specifics. I mean, you're always, you know, a lot of this is about perception with LinkedIn and everything else. I think it's so important um, to do that. So I wanted to wrap up the call now, but thank you very much, Utsav. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. And I'll be sharing information about the next call next week. Just one schedule change. In 2 weeks on the 28th, we're actually doing this on the 29th instead. in the morning, because we're going to actually have a panel talking about what changes in LinkedIn for the last year and the hits and misses of it. So I really hope you make it then. Have a great day, everyone. Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
Ken. Thank you, Ken, for
Thank you
having me
very
here.
much. Bye.
Bye.